have the start today?
Because I know she has that typing thing, so I don't want to
Take
her spot. Yeah.
Okay. So this week we studied about the 4 stations of Brahma. Last week we talked about the metta, right? Compassion, loving kindness and compassion is so important for us. Like the mothers always love the children, so we need love to live. Many elderly people in the nursing home, have you been visited before? Many of them, yes, they have food to eat, have medicine to take, but most of the time, the thing they miss is love from their own children, grandchildren, and so forth. Yet the nurse can come to take care of them, but sometimes, most of the case, one nurse take care of many of them. So this is not easy. Even if they can take care of them, but that kind of love or care could not be compared with the family members one. So that's why, in Asian traditions, the parents prefer the children, grandchildren to stay back at the family unit. And that's why when they get older, the grandparents or even grandparents, they like to stay in the family so that they can take care of each other. Just imagine that during the day, your children, grandchildren, everyone leave the house except you, because you could not drive, because you're so weak. And what happens if there's no one around? Of course, if you have the grandchildren there, you'll be happy. Makes sense? This is the common sense. So, but still, that's why as humans, or even animals too, any sentient beings need love. That's why love is so important. That's why compassion is so important, especially in Buddhism. That we need to meditate or develop on that kind of virtues that we in ourselves. So that are the 2 what we call the for station Brahmas. There's a lofty one that we need to develop. That's why in Buddhism, no matter what, we don't want to have this any kind of fighting and the kind of violence toward all the people we know. As humans, we need love, and whichever we want to do for us, we have to do for others. Okay. So let's see. Let's go on to today. Today is what they call the mindfulness on sympathetic joys over another success. Mindfulness of the evenmindedness, equanimity. Probably you go to the church and you may know this kind of terms, but I can say that when we see someone who are in difficult times, it's easy for us to develop loving kindness to them. But when we see someone more successful, it's not easy for us to have the joy of their success. Make sense?
Yes.
Why?
Jealousy,
envy. That is the thing that happens to most of us. So that's why this 4 stations of Brahma, the Buddhas encouraged that we need to develop this kind of virtue. So that is what we cover today. Okay, let me show you a short clip. This one here.
I know you felt that vice-like grip of the green-eyed monster, because you're not alone. It happens to everyone. Studies show that children as young as 6 months grimace when their mothers interact with a dummy baby. It's pretty much the occupational hazard of belonging to the human race. We want to be loved, and we do not want to be ignored. Unfortunately, long after we've outgrown our diapers, we still become a little childlike when we're jealous. Jealousy tends to come with a specific set of blinders, and the more jealous we are, the less able we are to, let's say, empathize with others. For example, a study conducted by the researchers at the University of Delaware found that jealous people We're more easily distracted and less able to perform simple memory games. So let's try to figure out how to get your jealousy issues under control. Take out your Wellcast journal. We've got a 3-step system for this, and it's simple. Acknowledge, communicate, and resolve. So the next time you're in a situation where you're experiencing those extreme jealous thoughts, go into a separate room, take out your Wellcast journal, and calm down. Step 1, acknowledge. Admit it. You're jealous, and you can't run from your feelings. But by addressing your jealousy head on, you can keep it from taking on epic, unrealistic proportions. Write down exactly what's making you jealous and why. Let's say you just found out that your 2 best friends didn't invite you to that movie that they caught last week. Get it out. My friends are hanging out without me. I'm scared they'll stop being my friend. It's okay to be a little dramatic. It's just your journal. Step 2, communicate. Now that all of your embarrassing thoughts are out on paper, go get the real story. Don't have an imaginary argument with your friends in your head. It's only going to make things worse. Tell them how you feel about what happened. Be vulnerable and apologize to them if you overreacted in any way, because you might have. Make it clear that you're expressing your feelings and not stating facts. Speak in I statements. I feel like you didn't want to hang out with me because you're tired of me. That's your insecurity. At a certain point, the only way to get over your jealousy is to stop thinking about yourself all the time and see someone else's point of view. Step 3, resolve. And this will be the hardest part for you because now you have to listen. Your friends might tell you that you're overreacting, and they might be right. We know you don't like horror movies, so we didn't think to invite you. Let's recap. That big, bad, green-eyed monster gets all of us sometimes. But today, we learned 3 ways to keep it at bay. By acknowledging your own insecurities, communicating with others, and ultimately listening.
Okay, so that's just a simple clip that I can have some idea. Okay, let's just see here. Again, you say this be hard for us to develop this kind of what we call mudita. That's in Sanskrit, artistic joy, the joy of the successful of the other people. It's not easy, but that's we need to understand why we need to develop that kind of virtue. Okay, and it's according to one of the Buddhist monks, say love in part to equanimity, to its selflessness, its boundless nature, and even its favor, compassion, God, equality, sympathetic joy, equanimity, and so forth. Okay. So we know, right? Jealousy and envy. What's the difference between jealousy and envy? Who knows before we move on? You have an idea? What is the difference?
Isn't jealousy wanting maybe something someone else has, and envy would be
Let's see. Okay. Alright, jealousy, envy is desire to have something that is not your own. Envy is pride and resentment at the success of another person. Jealousy is an emotion and typically refers to negative thought, feeling and insecurity. So what is different there?
I guess jealousy is like the cognition of negativistic thoughts and reactions, but envy is just desiring something that isn't yours. So envy, I guess, may not have a negative connotation. You may just want something.
But you don't have you don't harbor the negative.
Exactly, but jealousy does.
Alright, there's mental uneasiness from suspicion of fear of rivalry, unfaithfulness, and so forth. Religion in maintaining or guarding something. You're always over there, you're always watching them. Right? And it happens when the person feels that the relationship is upon restrained by someone else. When it's this common sense, it's human nature. If your girlfriend, boyfriend go out with others, right? You have doubt sufficiency and so forth. This is common sense. Jealousy can occur in context of competitive situation, workplace or educations. During my my generation, at that time we didn't have this kind of laptop, computer projectors. So we had books and papers, and when we take a test too, we took a test by writing on the books, on the textbook and so forth, a paper and so forth. And after the professors grade the test, they pour us out of the door, or sometimes inside the class, the grade. This is my generation, and I don't have that kind of problem nowadays. And you can see A, B, C, and so forth on the list. I don't know where did they start to do that practice, that kind of display. I don't know when, but nowadays it's just better, right? So this belongs to your policy, right? Whichever grade you have, you keep on yourself, that people would not know. But that's great too. Yeah, number please. Number.
Yeah, number 10.
Okay. Jealousy is an emotions, a feeling, negative thought. That's just more important, right? You have negative thought about others, people. So envy probably just compare. Oh, I wish I have that types of jobs and so forth, right? But jealousy is more severe, right? It's more negative, right? Fear of insecure, fear of loss, anxiety over anticipation of losing what you are. This is not love. So when you here, how you tell you when you are jealous, you're obsessed about keeping that person, you find fault in everything they do, you think paranoid thought, you feel scared and insecure. You're sensitive to the action. So probably most you have boyfriends, girlfriend, right? So what happens if they go out with the other people? You feel insecure? No?
Because he's not going out with anyone else. Like, won't even be an option. No, I'm kidding.
I have an interesting situation on that one, because I'm polyamorous. Me and my husband are polyamorous, so we do date other people.
Wow.
So it's always an interesting dynamic because you still deal with jealousy. It doesn't matter what kind of relationship, but yeah.
Okay, but it's not easy. Yeah, even when at workplace too, right?
Yeah.
If you are in lower positions, or even your co-workers, somehow they get promoted, they get bonus and so forth. It's not easy. Not easy. You have to deal with that. Right? So sibling rivalry is happened at home, right? We fight for our parents' attentions, right? And workplace is common sense for most people. That's why we have what they call politics everywhere. Is that right? You get if your boss, your manager favor on someone else, right, at work, on your co-workers, and so forth. It's not easy. It's not easy to handle. And even we may compare. Even in reality, sometimes, as humans, we favor someone else over others. Is that right? This is common sense. So that's why jealousy is happening. Romantic jealousy is normal too, especially it's a serious one. Right? And jealousy arises friendship due to the same insecurity found in other relationship. Feel the comparison, I fear of being replaced, I feel the competitions. So that's happened. Right. Because of jealousy, we don't trust others. If you trust your boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, you would not have that kind of jealousy, is that right? But it's not easy as human, unless you have calm mind, unless you know them well, right? Otherwise, it's common sense. It's the nature of human, because we could not know what happened in theirs. Separation, anxiety, unfair comparison, powerlessness, infinity, fear, lack of self-confidence. Let's speak out, because we lack of our confidence. We concern other people will leave us, will dump us, will dispose us. Right? And sad jealousy, control behavior. Many people they try to control their friends, right? Whoever, because they thought that if they don't control them, they would be above them. They would do something behind their back and so forth. Avoidance, competitive behavior. Overcome again. This is plenty of ways. This according to the Western psychology. Who experience a feeling, love yourself, stop compare. It's not easy. It's not easy to how can we stop to compare other people? Like when you go to school, even you don't see other students, other friends grade, right? But at least when you ask around, at least when they are in the honor class, at least when they have some kind of award and so forth, we have that kind of sense, right? It's not easy to compare. So, five words is trend to you, change only false belief. And let's see what happens if one day, in reality, one day you see your girlfriend's boyfriend walk around with other people. How can you handle that? You want to stop that relationship, or you want to investigate? It's up to you, right? Is it serious or not? You know. Anyway, so again, one thing is that friendship come and go. Remember that. Of course, some people they love each other too much, so they cannot let go of other people. I used to tell a story that there's a king. He told the queen, I love you so much. I love you more than my life. So the queen said, wow, okay, I really appreciate that. Yeah, I know that you love me. But what happened when one day you know that I go out with another guy? And so the king said, I chop your head off. And so the queen said, well, that's opposite what you just say. You love yourself, you don't love. If you love me, so no matter what I do, you still love me. Make sense?
Yeah.
So most of the time, yes, we love ourselves more than others, but we show ourselves, oh, I will love this and that with condition. I love you, you should love me, otherwise, of course, we don't chop off the head, but we let him go or run away from when they stay away from each other. So again, most of the time we think about ourselves first. When we other people, why we make friendship, because other people are nice to us, right? They helpful, right? If they give us a hard time, there's no way for us to hang around with them, right? So of course, with the unfaithful one, yes, we don't want to hang around with them too. But still, most we have that kind of conditional approach toward anyone's, in our daily life. And again, remember, unless you tie yourself together as one as husband, otherwise, sometimes friends come and go. So just accept that. It's not easy, right? So probably, I don't know. You may have. What's the number, please? Right. Probably you may have few girlfriends and boyfriends before you settle one. Is that right? Mm-hmm. Right. So this is common. So again, so don't expect too much that I am. Okay, let's move on here. envy again, a feeling of discontent and resentment arose by in conjunction with desire for position of part of another. So this is still kind of resentment toward yourself, right? But jealousy, you have that kind of negative thought toward others. That's a different, right? So envy is just for your thought, but jealousy, you show reaction to. You engage in race when your girlfriends go out with other. You engage when your co-workers got bonus or promoted and so forth. Okay, is that a passion with the view within dislike superiority of those who are really entitled to all superiority? The person again, it just happening in your mind. Okay, this questions comparison to others, pride, seeking significant low self-esteem, especially the one who has problem with depression. They may have this kind of problems when they compare. Though downplay success, possessiveness, insult, talking your name with others. Okay, again, be honest. Again, this is just a common approach. Develop a lifestyle of gratitude. For activities that encourage comparison, ask yourself why you behind others, why they above you, why they better than you, and so forth. Stop judging yourselves so harshly. And here, what's important is I want to emphasize it, especially in this class. From time to time, we mention about the words. This is the big words that you need to remember. Acceptance. Without these words, it's not easy for you to do meditation. You know why? Many of you study psychology, you know, flight, right? Or flight, what happened then? What happened? You have this mode. Stress come, right? Anxiety come, depression come. But when you accept the situation, if something go beyond your ability, let's say if your co-workers were promoted, or they received bonus from your manager, supervisor, whoever, that's out of your ability, out of your control. Is that right? So, yeah, acceptance doesn't mean that we give everything. We try our best in our part and accept anything that happens. Let's go beyond our ability to control. That's what it means. Make sense? Alright, so we from time to time we talk about this. Is so important. That's why it's different from judgment, comparing, judging, or comparison. It's just not easy. It's not easy not to judge others. It's not easy not to compare. But still, when you do meditation, it's really helpful, especially when we practice the breath meditation. How about since most of us here, how about we start 1 minute? Okay. So just accept whichever. Remember, we start with our breath. We have this kind of mind training. Let's start with our breath. We don't compare. We don't compare inhalation and exhalation. We don't compare to other people counting. Just accept what we have. Make sense? Inhale, whether it's long or short, we accept. Exhale, whether long or short, we accept. That's all. Let's start from our breath. We train our mind to reverse the pattern of comparison, of judging, to get back to the nature of response. Okay, so let's do 1 minute, please. Alright, so relax yourself. And we do 1 minute. So I will rest 1 minute. Okay, close eyes a little bit. Alright, I'm prepare to start. and just let go. Did you guys count?
14?
I think it was 13.
No, I didn't count.
3.
Count.
I think.
9.
Okay, that's good then. Let us just have this kind of understanding and practice, and remember, especially in this country, we have what we call competition, right? Competition everywhere. At school, at work, everywhere. So how can we accept that? Is that conflict? That we don't need to compare, we don't need to compete with each other. You know, capitalist society in this country, right, based on competition, right? And we compete each other to get the scholarship or whichever, right? So how could this kind of acceptance can be applicable in this modern life? Is that the ideal one? Or get applicated? Is this the practical one? What do you think? What do you think? Let's say when at work, right? And if you don't try to compete with your co-workers to produce more material within that you work in there, you may fall behind. And you can accept that? Is it in conflict? Or ideal one? What do you think? If you don't compete with them, you may fall behind. So is that religious one? What do you think? Why?
Well, because if you accept, doing less than your coworker, then
Yeah, this important thing is try your best, not to give up, not standing there and watch. That's a different story. Try your best and accept the outcome. Like I told you, when you walk into the room to take the test, try your best to take the test, not to compare. Because whenever you walk into the room to take the test and you judge yourself, you want to compete with others, you of course the other world too, expectation too. That would kill you. That would be so harmful. Make sense? I won't expect to have a good grade, and so forth. But yeah, that's the goal then. But still, you remember, you make preparations, you study hard, right? Or you work hard and so forth, and you accept the outcome. That's all. Your mind more peaceful. Of course, if other people, let's say, if you try to study hard, but somehow you get a B, that's okay. If other people get an A, that's their effort. Make sense? But if you try to compare, if you try to judge, oh, I'm proud, I'm got an A, and that's other people, they have just C or B. That's a different story. Comparison or judging. Then we judge other, we compare ourselves with others. That's just where suffering comes from. That's where anxiety and so forth come from. So it's up to us. It's up to us to see which way we want to maintain our peacefulness and happiness and our calmness. Whenever we maintain like a calmness and peacefulness, we have more wisdom to do things. Right? When we so jealous, when we judge other people, when we compare and so forth, the jealous, that kind of anger, that kind of anxiety and stress, so forth, would pop up in our mind. So again, which one we want to go, it's up to us. Okay, so that's why I want to talk about this. And even you see that even here, be honest, avoid activities, encourage comparison. This is in Western psychology. So that's why it's in line with Buddhist psychology. Be with any person, understand his or her perspective, speak to him or her, keep an eye out. Keep an eye, right? Really check. Okay, again, this is sense, and we should have a thought, right? But jealousy, you have more action. You show through your action, through your words. Mindfulness, when you feel the loss, someone, something, or in your life and so forth. Okay, so it's possible, yes, both of them could be at the same time. You could be jealous of attention, your preference, you're getting from a female who you envy for physical qualities. So he said that jealousy involves the wish to keep what one has, and envy the wish to get what one does not have. That's not different too. Right here. Never hate jealous people. They are jealous because they think we are better than them. Jealous is just a lack of self-confidence. If you have self-confidence in doing your task, doing your work, whichever, you just accept that and move on. Other people, if they get married or demarried, that's their business. But the other thing is how we handle life. Again, blow out other person candle will not make your shaft brighter. Less age, not envy, draw, wrinkle on a check. Okay, here. So we know, right? And here they say that in health, is related to our health. Jealousy has been linked to increased stress hormones in body and even a high risk of Alzheimer. It affects to our mentality. It affects to our physical body. It's here too. Scientists suspect that brain left frontal cortex with causes painful emotions like shame, embarrassment, and fear is involved in the creation of jealousy there. It's harmful. So both emotionally, physically, and mentally, this kind of thought, this jealous thought, is harmful for ourselves. So that's why we need to recognize and whether we want to let go or not, whether we want to transform or not, it's up to us. Jealousy may also kickstart the body stress response, definitely. When we're jealous about other people, we stress out, cause on overflow of stress, hormones, and increase of blood pressure and heart rate. So that's according to the health and the people in the medical field. Here, direct hit your brain, your bladder, liver, then jealousy, sympathetic nervous system buckle, which in turn can speed up the heart and cause spine blood pressure. Again, so nowadays we have instruments and equipment to measure the brain waves length and the body. The mechanism, that's why we recognize this type of mental negative thought would be harmful. So again, everyone, that is what we talk about, the jealousy, the envy, that's harmful for us. Now before we talk about what we call the sympathetic joys, and we need to define what's meant by joys. Before we go, what's meant by joys? Any one of you?
Happiness.
Happiness? Okay, what else?
well-being,
well-being, okay.
satisfaction.
Satisfactions, feel content, feel contents.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, and it helps us to have a healthy body, right? Healthy life, right? Okay, here a sensation of happiness, contentment, pleasure. Stress help our brain learn to balance, become happy. Chemistry of joy is the feel of joy. This is in the left. And in psychology, you study Buddhist too. You study about how is some thought may affect to the brains. You can study
Yes,
that,
we
yeah.
do. Very briefly though. But yeah.
It's just,
Talk about like the hormones like serotonin and dopamine, how they affect the personality
is that
and emotion.
Is that in high level or something?
Yes. So serotonin and dopamine are called the happy neurotransmitters. So if you have high serotonin, dopamine is most likely have a happy disposition.
So this is for sophomore or a junior level.
This would be physiological, so it would be
Yeah.
3,000 level class, so junior level.
A junior level.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Okay. People predisposed to show more than 60% of a tendency past the emotion. If you enjoy, if you're happy, if you have the kind of joyfulness, joyful thought, you'll be more happy, you'll be more healthy. You have more positive outlook of life. So that's why we need to remind each other. A major part of joy is anticipation, looking forward to something enjoyable. So it depends upon how we view our lives. And if we have that kind of positive mind with a kind of joyful thought, everything is enjoyable. When you go to class, yes, you learn more. You have that urge, right? You have that kind of motivation. Oh, I like to learn more. But what happens if you have some kind of negative thoughts? It blocks everything. Oh no, I have to come and sit there for 1 hour and 30 minutes and so forth. So again, it depends upon how our mind, in Western psychology and in Buddhist psychology, again, we talk about the mind. How we transform the mind. You don't need to cut off, you don't need to block your eyes, you need to cover your eyes or cover your ears. Just change, transform your mind, just change your paradigms of views of lives. Okay, benefit, enhance immune system. We know that when we enjoy our life, we're happy, we have strong immune system, improve the cardiovascular function, and reduce lifespan. That's what we want to. Also, emotion can rather than a negative emotion. It can help us to overcome difficulties, whether we fail, whether we encounter any kind of obstruction. If we fail, we stand up and move on. Yesterday, there's one girl. She's not dropped out yet. She quit school for a couple of years already, and now she's registered to go back to the high school at the 9th grade levels. And I told her mom, and of course not to that it's not easy for her to take because she has a kind of depression before, and if she could not have much motivation to study, she could fall back into what they call recursion, or depression.
Depression.
After depression, it may occur again. What they call that's what. Recursion, is it right?
Recursion?
Recursion, right?
Yes, recursion.
Yeah. Yeah, so especially for the
or
one.
relapse, I guess.
Oh yeah, for
Yeah.
relapse, that's
Relapse,
right. Yeah, that's why we need, if we have positive mind, positive thought, it's helpful for us to overcome some kind of difficulties. So that's why it's so important. It's beneficial. Happy association lower levels of stress hormones. When people are happy, they tend to take better care of themselves. It's common sense. Okay, so again, this is all kind of information here. Again, so I want to give you the information about the harmfulness of the jealousy, envy, and the the benefit of joy. So that when we talk about the sympathetic joys, the joy of happiness, the joy of success of others, will be helpful for ourselves. That's why I just told you at the beginning. When we see, let's say, people are suffering, like during the storm or hurricane here in Houston, in Florida, right? You have any relatives, friends in Florida that are affected by hurricane?
Yeah, I had a friend in Orlando.
Really? Is it flooding there? Not much?
Not too much. We haven't heard too much from them. They're having trouble with the cell signal and power's still out. But they were all right, but they said it was bad in some areas.
Well, within a couple of weeks has happened here, Houston, and after that in Florida. This is nature disaster. Anyway, so again, it's easy for us to develop loving kindness toward those people, the one who encounter difficulties there, but not easy to develop the sympathetic joys when we see our people are more successful than us. That's why this one, you can say that's the ideal one, the lofty one that we need to develop. Okay, and the Buddha say about some joys that through the eyes, ear contact, no contact, and so forth. Like through eyes, we like to see, we enjoy, we have the joy when we see beautiful pictures, beautiful image. Ear contact, we enjoy to listen our favorite music and so forth. Our nose, we like to smell the fragrance. The tongue, we enjoy some kind of our favorite food and so forth. That's what we talk about. Yeah. Okay. So, and in the Buddhism, this is more what we call in the central the no self doctrine, and from time to time we talk about this. And when we talk about the Zen traditions, we will see that more too. So when we don't have any attachment to ourselves, when we don't put ourselves above others, it's easy for us to have that kind of joyfulness to what their success. Understand that? But if we put ourselves above them, it's not easy. That is what it's talking about. Again, this is altruism or egoism. Altruistic motivated by the desire to increase another welfare. Opposites, egoistic. Egoistic that motivated by the desire to increase one more welfare. So that's both. And here, empathy, altruism theory, perception that someone needs help, adoption of other person, yes. It will help us to have empathy concern, and we will have develop the altruistic and reduce other distress. Let the mothers, let the fathers, the one we love, right? If they say no, we don't care. We don't care with them. We put some distress. If there's success, we have that kind of attachment ourselves. We think about ourselves, reduce our own distress, not others. So this is according to psychology. They list out this. And for psychologically, they call empathy, perspective taking, emotion self-perspective, emotion out-perspective, emotion response, emotion matching, and empathy concern. This is what about emotion self-perspective. Emotion, how would you think and feel in another situation, or put yourself in the other people's shoe, right? So like only when we deal with this kind of hurricanes, this kind of flooding, we could feel, we could recognize the suffering that people have to endure when the house is flooded or even lost their life. If we don't put ourselves in that kind of situation, it's not easy. That's why, especially for the richer people, they would not have that much that feeling about the poor. Last couple of years, I watched a movie. It's been interesting. I forgot the names of that, the title of that. But they say that there's a rich man somehow, I don't know whether he's billionaire or millionaire, so he had his friends somehow they made the bid that tell this rich man, if you can stay on the street like homeless for a week or for a month, I forgot, you will win certain amount of money. I forgot that story. I don't know whether you watch that. So yes, this rich man, he want to beat that. What do you call? So he went to stay on the street, I think for a week or for months. But somehow his friends tried to trick him so that they could take over his business. That's what the trick. But because he trusts the bits of his friends, so he went to stay on the street. And of course, he stayed among the homeless people. He feels sympathy for them. And after the week, actually somehow they make the arrangement agreement that if somehow for the so one who got out from the jail, they have to wear what you call to be parole. What do you wear?
Or the ankle monitor.
Yeah,
House arrest?
monitor.
Under house arrest?
Ankles. So he wear that. So his friend said, "You supposed to stay in this perimeter, in this area only. You cannot stay out." Of course, this is the bad neighborhood with many homeless people. So it's a very funny story. It's a very nice story. So somehow after a week, so he tried to get back to his business, and because he's winner for that kind of business, and somehow of course his friend tried to trick him into that type of situation. So that they could take over his business, but of course somehow it's a story long. But my point I want to say is that after he lived with them, he know the codes, their codes, he know their suffering. So he got married with a homeless lady over there, and he invited all the homeless people to come and enjoy his wedding too. So that's very nice, a very nice story. So again, when you put yourself in other people's situation or other people's shoes, you understand them more. If you out there, you're going to understand what happened. Alright, so imagine others. Imagine how another person think or feel even his situation. Right? Only when you know other people's situation, other people's hardship, you could have that kind of sympathy. Otherwise, it's not easy. Emotion matching between us and another person feeling for another person who is in need. Actually, in Tibetan traditions, there's one method that what we call tonglen. That means it's similar approach like this. You put yourself in other people's shoes. You care for other people. You understand other people's situation so that you can step out and help them. So that's what we call tonglen. This is compassion toward others. Alright, here victim distress, empathy distress, whether here this is their empathy, sympathy, and so forth. Here, there's a charge. The charge he put there, egoism. Embrace one's own welfare, many form, easily involved, powerful. Embrace communities involvement relates to the multi-only eyes and instrument means unintended consequence. So altruism embrace the welfare of others. Even there's some has start for a couple weeks. Like yesterday, still received a phone call from some people that whether we need more food supply for the one who stay in the shelter. But since all people left my shelter, so I say no, you can send to the big one. They still have people in the NRG.
I don't know about that.
They do.
I'm not sure.
Not sure.
But I think they're now in I think they're in shelters, like permanent shelters. I think they left all, because they're all having games now. Like most of the stadiums are now hosting events, so I don't think.
Well, they still have animals in the shelter though.
Really?
Yeah, they're trying to reunite them with the owners, but they have a couple hundred, like dogs and cats that they got separated from their owners during the time of their, but yeah.
Yesterday, this one couple came to my center and asked for help. They stuck with their electric bill for more than couple $100, so I gave her $100 with the food. But some people, they're out of jobs during this time.
Yes.
Yeah. And so that's just somehow we need to step out whenever things come. We need to step out to help others. Alright, so here this pro-social behavior is helpful. It's a helpful action that benefits others. Here, more motives for pro-social behavior, unselfish motives. Whichever things we have, others, if they have this unselfish motive, it's easy to do. Like last time I told you, right? Can you allow the stranger into your house during after the hurricane or the flooding because they didn't have any place to stay? If you don't care much, not don't care, but if you don't concern much about them, I mean that's a negative way. In a negative way, you would host them. Then you have the second thought, right? Wow, these people, this and that is not easy to have. So no matter what, in any situation, if you have unselfish motives, it's easy to step out. But if you have the second thought, if you have the doubt, whether they take advantage on you and so forth, there's no way. There's no way. Yeah. So it's happened to me many cases. I just have, and I remember a few years ago when I was in Louisville, Kentucky. There's one gentleman. He came to my center, and he said, you know, I was kicked out because I don't have enough money to pay for my rent. So can you lend me a couple $100? Here's my travel license. And even he gave me his Social Security card too, so that you can keep, and I will come back. I will pay back to you a couple of weeks later. And yet I gave him, I think, a couple $100, and that's all. I never seen him again. That's fine. That's fine, you know. But still, some people take advantage on our generosity. Some people, who knows? They mean they take. Or of course, I think at that moment or later on, I think probably it's not because of the rent or something that he may not have. Right? That's why he didn't care much to live with me his Social Security card. So I think it's just, you know, people in difficult situations sometimes that it's not easy for them to overcome. So it's up to us again. If we don't have much doubt, of course we will trust them. We can step out and help. Otherwise, it's not easy. And of course, you have to be careful. But we just try our best to help each other. Within our reach. Yes, that's all. That's why patient, okay, empathies. Person observe empathies, empathies arouse. Person provide help simply because we feel needs help, and because it feels good to provide help. That's all. That's what we need to do here. It feels good to do good, motivated so by unselfish desire, willing to engage in unpleasant activity, and so depend. Depend. If we attach ourselves, we take care of ourselves first. Just imagine that as in some situation that we don't have any food to eat among ourselves, but we have only one glass of chips or actually one water bottle. So that's for us. You understand now? So sometimes we may deal with this kind of situation, right? Not in terms of food and drink, but in terms of morning, whichever, in families, in the community, or at work too, right? So if you have that kind of generosity in your mind, it's so easy to help out, to sacrifice yourself for others, whichever terms, whether it's little or a big one. So here in the same thing too, empathy, choice, hypothesis. Again, when people are in emergencies, whether you want to step out to help or not, again, this is dependent on you. And of course, you see many people, they sacrifice even their life. I remember we talked about the 3 gentlemen who was
They were electrocuted
when they help other people. Yeah. Alright, so now I want to talk to him. This is him. This is him I want to talk today. It's important. The reason why I want to go over again all kind of information so that we can come down here to see the benefit of develop that kind of sympathetic joy toward other people, success, and the pleasure of finding joy in happiness and success of others. Again, it's not easy. Right? It's lofty, it's ideal. Of course, it's not easy to love that kind. But here in this class, we learn from these Buddha teachings, and there's the same approach of mudita is a great antidote to envy, to jealousy. And later on, let me see. Let me go down here. And altruistic joy is supported by appreciation. Why? You know why? It's supported by appreciation. You know why?
Because if you appreciate someone's wealth and happiness, then you don't seek for it.
Yeah, you're not jealous of them. You appreciate our life, or you appreciate your life. Oh, I'm happy now, right? I appreciate that I'm blessed, that I'm set here. I have my chance to go to school here, right? I have even I work hard, but I work full time and go to school full time, but still, at least I have ability to work to earn income. You know, I've been in India, 1998, 1999. I saw, you know, we talk about the low caste people, what we call it untouchable people. I've seen many of them, women, male, female, young, old. They work hard every day, and they have only their salary only $1 per day to compare with US dollar. The standard of living is so low. So again, we're so blessed. So that's why I told you last time that in our Eastern tradition, Adam is that if we look up, we cannot compare to others. If we look down, no one compare to us. So be satisfied, be accepted, and appreciate what we have. When we appreciate what we have, we don't need to have that kind of jealousy and be toward other people's success. Unselfish choice through any of 3 kinds of absorption, 11 advantage here. It's similar to the benefit of having loving kindness and compassion. Sleep in comfort, wake in comfort, and dream no evil dream. It's common sense. When we don't harbor any jealousy, any envy in our mind, we're peaceful. During the day, at night, or wherever. Again, so children, of course, sometimes they still innocent to compare with other people. But of course, during the course of the life, they were trained, indoctrinate, or accumulate the knowledge that they need to compare. That's why we're here now. That's why we have that kind of jealousy and so forth. Okay, let me move down here. When unselfish joys grow, when it's not in human heart, will die natural and a natural death. Will at least scream jealousy and envy, it will anniversary, men's call and so forth. So when we have that kind of unselfish joy toward other people, it will be more helpful. It is more healthy. So that's one is supplies source, and here this is the step. This is the step how to practice this type of unselfish joy. The first step is you think about someone that made you laugh. It's easy for you to have the joy to that person, like comedians, right? Someone made you laugh, someone made you enjoy your life and so forth. That's the first step. So they say that it's not contemplate. Don't start with the one that you love so much. Don't start with your enemies. You know why? Because when you start with your loved one, you could not have that type of unselfish joy much. Make sense? Or if you think about your enemies, there's no way for you to have that joy. So this is the step-by-step training. The first step is to think about the one who make you laugh, the comedians. Right? The second step, again, when you get used to that, step by step, on scene here about a dear person being happy, cheerful and joyful, and selfish joy can be arose. So you step by step. Of course, we get used of that. Oh, when you think about your loved one, you develop that unselfish joy, like to your parents, to your children. That's okay too, if you can. And step by step, and how does a bhikshu, this is one of the Sutra Buddha said that, how does a bhikshu prevail when the Russian with heart imbues in unselfish joy, still as he would enjoy. Joyful in seeing a dear beloved one should prevail. So he pervades or beings with unselfish joy. So start with the one make you laugh, the one that make you joyful. So you spread that kind of unselfish joy to other people. Here, from a dear person to a neutral one, after that a hostile one. That's a step there. But if resentment toward the hostile one arises, it should make it subside in the same way as this brother expression of loving kindness. Again, that is the step there. Here this unsupervision in the increased 5 ways. No beings or presence or rituals or person or those who have personality be free from enmity, affliction, anxiety, and live happiness. And supervision, woman, noble one, deities, beings, and so forth. The rational probation, and these 10 ways. No beings in or brethren or woman and so forth, East in Western and so forth. Last time I didn't have time to talk about what we call 5, 28. Some of you do this. 528 benefit of actually ways of contemplation for the loving kindness and compassion. Did anyone you do that? No. You can, if you can look at this, is they come up with this number then, and because it's multiplied by 10 direction and so forth. All right, so it's a lot of thing. It's a lot of thing to talk about. The important thing is here, especially in my Buddhist traditions. One of the reasons why we have Tonglen here, compassion here, is say that for a one who practices what called Bodhisattva conduct, they're supposed to help other people while they practice in Buddhism, while they practice in meditation and so forth. So, especially with Santideva, he wrote the book what he called Bodhisattva Way of Life. In that book, Bodhisattva Way of Life, in this book he mentioned that, you know, your position, he talked about the one who practiced Bodhisattva path, the one who work on the Bodhisattva path and have that conduct, and they support to help other people. And if they are successful, So why don't you feel envy? Why don't you feel jealous of other person? Make sense? Because without your help and they can handle themselves, so why do you have that kind of jealousy? So that's what he wants to make an argument, so that it can reverse the thought, that not to harbor the jealous thought in our mind. Make sense? You follow me? So that's what we talk about. And in this what we call the 10 vows of the universal what the Buddhists are about that. That's what talk about. One of the 10 vows, the 5th vow, is say that whichever the sensitive beings do, I have that kind of unselfish joy toward them. Whether it's little or big, small or large, I always have that kind of unselfish joy. Whether they come from the Buddha, Bodhisattva, from the church one, from the common people, whichever good deeds they do, I have that type of unselfish joy. And that's what most Buddhists decide almost every day at home. So again, in our Buddhist tradition, that we instill this type of information, this type of knowledge. Of course, yes, study is different from, learning is different from practice, but still at least we have that kind of knowledge. And eventually we could develop, depend upon how we deal with life and how much knowledge, how much practice we have within ourselves. It starts with our breath. Okay, so there's a lot of information about this, for this kind of unselfish joy and sympathetic joy. Any question? You can get feel long. Have you anyone of you read this part yet? You did? Mm-hmm. Yes? Mm-hmm. Oh, you did, right? Okay, now another thing here, equanimity. Before we move on, we don't have much time. Anyone of you give me the definition or idea about what's meant by equanimity? What's mean? What's so important? This is one of the 4 lofty conducts, ideal virtual.
It's being balanced.
Yes.
Being calm.
Yes. Why? What's so important? Being calm, being balanced. Why?
Because it allows you to stay focused in your meditation. So you can eventually adapt it to where you're meditating for longer, not just 10 minutes or so. You can do it 30 minutes or 10 hours.
Mm-hmm. Yes. You know, it's so practical. When you're driving the car on the freeway, if you just switch lane, of course, unless you get stuck, unless you have to switch lane to get out the freeway to go to the exit, that's a different story. But what happens if you switch lane too many times? You raise more chance to have car accident. That's all. Right? So it's better to, for me, it's better to stay in one lane than to switch back and forth. And of course, it's better to stay with the speed limit. Some of you guys have over speed limit ticket. How many times? A lot. One? Yeah. Some of you more than one. You get good then. Oh, good. Yeah. So our mind, of course, we live what we call go with the flow, right? Yeah, we abide with the law, the rules, and so forth because they design the speed limits. So this is what when they set language so that we can drive, right? So, but actually, for some of us, most of us, when we first start driving, we have problem. Actually, I got 2 tickets. When I first got the driver license, it's more than 20 years ago, not now. The first time that I got the ticket the first time I got the ticket within a month. After I got the driver license, somehow I was so nervous. At that time, I was nervous to try the van for the months, and somehow they gave me the ticket because they didn't have much experience. And other times when I went to South Carolina, this I think more than 15 years ago, You know, when you ride your car from the rural area into the city, sometimes a big gap up speed limit, you couldn't stop.
Yeah.
So at that time, the policeman stopped me and gave me half ticket. You know, half ticket is mean half price. Because we had on expense, at that time I didn't have that type of experience to slow down the car. Anyway, so equanimity is again to calm the mind down. Mental calmness, composure, present the mind, especially in difficult situation. Now it's not easy, especially when calamities happen. How can you handle your reaction when the water came to your house? First time. Some of you have some kind of flooded at all? No? Or at the instant, even the instant that you saw two cars hit each other, boom! Have you seen that before?
I seen a car flip over and flatten another car.
So how was your reaction at that moment? You freak out, you stand still, or?
I just kind of stared and I was like, I hope they're good.
Anyone with you? Yes?
I was a volunteer firefighter, so I used to run analysis and blames and respond to car accidents and all kinds of stuff. For me, it was always weird. I always felt calmer, like in the middle of the emergency.
Oh, really?
But then I would freak out later on. But yeah.
It's not easy in that kind of situation when it happened to other people, especially when it happened to us. When you see good news or bad news, right? Whether you have that calmness or not. Last summer I witnessed 3 cars involved in one accident and 2 persons passed away, died on the spot in front of us. There. Anyway, it's not easy, so that's why we need to have that kind of equanimity, the calmness, the stable mind in that kind of situation. Right? Let's say after taking the test and you receive the grade, whether it's good or bad, could you remain that calmness or not? Are you so excited? Yes?
Question. What's the difference between that and just accepting things? Because a lot of times I just, like if it's something bad, it would just be like, oh well. Then I'll just kind of shrug it off and then continue on with my day. Is that like, what's the difference between the two?
It is to you, to your personal life, or to other people?
Well, is it the same, or just accepting things and just kind of moving on, or having the like kind of calmness while approaching it is what I'm going to say. Like, what's the difference between?
Let's say, like you say that. Let's say.
Like, say I got a bad grade, and then I just kind of like look at it and be like, okay, oh well.
Yes, not go acceptance then. Just move on.
But it's not equanimity, right?
Yes, you keep your mind stable and move on. If you're so nervous, right? If you're so sad, you will not move on easily. Is that right?
Yeah.
So that's why equanimity is having a stable mind, having that calmness is so important, so that we can deal with any kind of situations. Otherwise, a lot of people cannot get over. And then get over the difficulties situations, especially after the storm, after the hurricane, and after the Wall Street stock came down, some people jump down, right? So that's not easy. So that's why to keep this what we call the going with the flow can get lost or worse. If we can have this, there's always throw more place to you, and you are always trying to kind and spin them. Right? You need a way to select you choose which place to spin, a way to focus your attention. Whichever with your hands, whichever within your ability, and anxiety, depression, and so forth would happen if you don't have that type of stability in your mind. And that's why when you see the event, you react right away, without thinking, without having that kind of wisdom to recognize this, whichever thing you need to resolve. That's what emotion comes. Let's say some some of your friends give you some bad comments about how you look, how you wear, and so forth. Right? It's not easy to handle. Right? So here, a community event, you notice, right? You see why is you reflect that and respond. You know, sometimes after I read the test or the paper from the students, sometimes they send back to me and complain, oh, I didn't make this mistake, and so forth and so forth. I have to be careful, I have to be patient to explain for them why they made that mistake. And remember, don't take things for personal. That's one of the important things. You need to separate yourself out from the event. Make sense? Let's say at work, right? If somehow you don't you couldn't finish your project on time, and your supervisor, manager, and so forth may blame on you or scold you and so forth, don't take it for personal. It's because of the jobs. Make sense? It's better, much better. Otherwise, if you take it for personal, you involve in that type of emotion easily. So you need to have time to think and reflect yourself, cultivating equanimity, mental calmness, composure, presence of mind. That's mindfulness meditation is about. You need to have that kind of practice. You need that kind of mental practice, mental training in order to deal with things, in order to remain calm. Otherwise, it's not easy. It's not easy when you deal with all kinds of situations, whether at school, at home, at work, or any kind of relationship. And again, this is the same thing too. Let me mention about this thing here. What is equanimity? Steadiness of the mind. Incentive to avoid evolution of suffering, cool the fire. The fire of desire, the fire of anger, the fire of jealousy, healing all pain. Something we make mistakes, someone harm us, and so forth. We could remain calm and let things go. Here, what we call in Buddhism, pleasure and pain, praise and blame, gain and loss, fame and ill repute. That's what we call the able difference. So be careful with someone who praises you a lot. That person may put you down easily. It's happened, some of you. So be careful about praise and blame. You know yourself. You know yourself better. Before I start, I'd like to tell you Dalai Lama. I forgot, he put his sentence in some book, I forgot. They say that for the Chinese people, the Chinese communists, they put him down, and they say that he's among a wolf where among dogs. And for the Tibetan people, for the Buddhist people, they respect him as a great Bodhisattva. And he said, well, whether it's praise or blame or criticism, he's the one he is. That's all. He's a simple man. Makes sense? So when someone praises you, be careful. When someone tries to put you down, be careful too. Makes sense? If you let your emotion go with that type of praising, putting yourself down, you get lost easily. You will be dependent upon how they say your life are controlled by them. Make sense? So that's why meditation is the way how to get back of your self-confidence. When you have steady mind, when you have that kind of calmness, no matter what they say, you know that what you do. That's what we call acceptance too. Remember, when we talk about this, you don't need to judge much. You know, of course, we know we try our best to do the work. Can accept this, whichever thing they say, that's okay. If they understand, if they give us the kind of encouragement, we appreciate. If they try to put us down, that's their business. We just move on. The thing they say, the thing that they try to put us, it's up to us to accept or not. Oh, one thing I remember that Dalai Lama, he said that too. So Dalai Lama said that the Chinese communists harmed him and his people but they cannot harm his mentality. They cannot take away his compassion. In a sense, people can harm you, but they cannot harm your thinking. All right. So work on your read this one, and if you have any problems, let me know. So this Thursday we talk about the mindfulness of body and spirit.